Hello and welcome to episode 85 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. My name is Laura and welcome to my knit night. Today is Tuesday, the 19th of April, I think. And if you haven't been here before, then hi, welcome. This is where I come to chat about all of the things crafty. And if you have been here before, thanks so much for coming back. Episode 85. We're getting close to 100 finally. I won't lie, my podcasting over the last few years, it comes and goes in waves. I wasn't planning to podcast for another week, and here I am. Just because I had a few little things to chat about, and I thought rather than saving them up and doing a super long podcast, I would come on here and chat now and do some little ones instead. Anyway, so it has been like a week since my last podcast, which is pretty good going for me. If you haven't been here before, I'm Laura. I am from Lowestoft in England, in the UK. I live here with my husband, my two little children who are 2 and 5, and my very old cat and my very young dog. I have a cockapoo puppy. I am a crazy woman. I am a yarn dyer. I make crafters balm, which is a hand balm for crafters. I make fibre. Well, I don't make it, like I blend it. This is some of my fibre. And I write knitting patterns, all as the Lonely Knitter. My business is about to come through some changes. And yeah, so at the end of this month, I will do a shop update with some new colourways and new things, and I'm going to be sort of showing you what's changing over the next couple of weeks on my social medias. But this is what I do. My life is all yarn all the time, and it is amazing. So thank you so much to absolutely everybody, whether or not you just watch the podcast, if you chat with me on my social media channels, or if you do indeed place an order or support the podcast through Kofi, anything like that. I'm so grateful, and I can't believe I get to do this as a job. So you guys are literally making a dream come true. Anyway, I'm going to pop on really quickly. I have no finished objects to show you, and just a few things to chat about. So I will get straight into whips, and I'll go with the one that I am using. All of my things are hanging out in my hohey bag. This gorgeous bag, which has, I didn't puncture these through. They, if you can see, there is little holes. Oh, I'm knocking the camera. Little holes all in this front pocket panel for you to put your pin badges. And I got this hohey bag last year. It was a birthday present from my parents for my 31st birthday. I got it early, which was lovely because it meant I had it for my birthday. My birthday was sad last year. I was 31. My 30th, it was during lockdown and we couldn't go anywhere or do anything. And my 31st, I was in hospital, and I ended up being in hospital for almost a month, following complications of surgery. But I had this bag, so that made things better, and it has now got my East Anglia Yarn Festival pin. East Anglia Yarn Festival is the yarn and fibre show that I organise in my part of the country. And it is now an annual event. I have had my first, and we are all booked and ready for the second. So if you want to check it out, I'll have the details below. I do have a small mini event coming up in Lowestoft in August called Stitches on the Sand, and yeah, there will be more details of that coming up soon. Anyway, in my hohey bag, because I am queen of tangents and get off to a million tangents, I always use my knitting bag as a handbag, because unless I'm going out with the kids on a mega journey and need a backpack, but most of the time, whatever knitting bag I'm carrying around ends up being my handbag as well. So today, and literally today, I have made this crochet square, and I have cast on, it's not a finished object. I mean, can I call it a finished object? If I can call it a finished object, that'd be great. As I have many times before said on this podcast, blocking and weaving in ends does not count. If I call it finished, it's finished. Well, this is finished, so there we go. Yeah, I have this little square, and I have the very, very beginnings. My nails are awful. I'm so sorry. That is disgusting. I've been dyeing a lot without gloves this week because I am very naughty and my hands are disgusting. But yeah, this is the very, very start of a heart. It is the same heart pattern. If you've been watching for a while, I made little hanging hearts for everyone who came to my wedding in 2018 now. That was a while ago, 4 years nearly. And I'm using that same pattern. This is one of my new colourways, and as part of my big overhaul of my business, lots of changes that are happening, I am dyeing up some new colourways for a release at the end of the month. There'll only be a few for the end of this month, but I will then start a plan where, yeah, things come out in a set space of time. And one of the things I want to do, especially for coming to shows, but also to share on my grid, is to make up little swatches. I would love to have samples in all of my colourways, but realistically, financially, I'm not going to be able to make full garments and items, and I don't have the time. And even if I did have sample knitters who would knit them for me, I don't have the money to be able to fund every colourway, obviously. So what I am going to do for every single colourway is dye up a mini along with the full skeins and make a small crochet square and a little knit heart, and then I can take them along to shows and have a display that shows you how things work up, even if it is just in miniature. So this hasn't been blocked yet, but I will block it out just to get it a little bit neater and squarer, and I will weave in those ends. And then this is the little heart. So it's a free pattern by Tanis Grey, and Tanis Fibre Arts. Am I thinking the right person? Tanis Fibre Arts. It's a free pattern. I can't remember the name of it. I have it memorised because I literally made 70 something for my wedding. And I apparently 4 years later can still pull that out of my memory. It's scarred in there, but I love this colourway. It is called, and I did release this today on my Instagram, it's called Dagobah, which is the system and planet that Yoda was on, that Luke Skywalker first came and met Yoda on. So Dagobah. There we go. And it has a little pride sheep, or rainbow sheep, but I call him my pride sheep, which is a gorgeous hand beaded stitch marker from Hannah of the Corner of Craft. If you don't know who Hannah is, like, what? Who are you? What? If you don't know who Hannah is, go and check her out. She is also the dyer behind Chromatic Yarns, but her little hand beaded stitch markers are amazing. And I had two from East Anglia Yarn Festival this year, and this was one of them, and the other was a little dragon, and I decided to go with the sheep on this one, and it's just helping me to remember where the start of the round is. So it's on there. I am making this on a 2.25mm Chowgu needle, and I am using Magic Loop. The pattern is written for 5 DPNs, but I have gone with Magic Loop because I love Magic Loop. It is my sock needle of choice as well. Speaking of socks, I do have another project that I have lost. It's the book club socks. I've cast it on, I've knit a tiny little cuff, and I don't know where I've put it. It's somewhere in the, actually it might be in here. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not even going to pause the camera and carry on going. I'm just going to, I've caught my own foot in my own dress. I'm just going to get up and then come back. It is in here. I thought I'd lost it. I have literally been tearing my house apart trying to find this, but it's fine. So I have got another whip to show you, but this is it in the ball, and I haven't brought the skeins out to show you, but you can see it on my Instagram. And yeah, so my little tiny crochet swatches and my little tiny knit heart swatches that I will be doing just for every repeatable colourway that I now make, so that I can show people what I do and how things make up. Anyway, next project to show you. This has barely had any work, but I'm going to show you it because I will take anything I can get. It's my sunglasses. You know, sometimes barely any work does get done, and that's just life. So here it is, teeny tiny cuff. So the book club for this 2-month period for me is Dumpling, and I am partway through it. I haven't finished it because I have been busy doing other things, and I just kept saying I was going to get onto it and didn't, but I will finish it by the end of the month so we can have book club. And the book club yarns for Dumpling were this one and this one. So here we go. Now I am just going to make a striped sock and stripe them together. You may see that this is sat on a funny little thing. I am going to take this opportunity to chat about it with you and see what you think. I have made a few of these and sent them off to a few of my friends to try out. But basically, I can't remember what I called it now. Oh, the stitch up. This is the stitch up. And it's something I had in my head, and I thought I would make a little prototype. And I found someone who cuts vinyl locally, got them to cut me some discs to the size and shape that I wanted. And I'm going to mess around with it slightly, and I could probably make it smaller, but these are only 50-gram skeins, and I want it to be able to take big skeins. And I made a little contraption. So the idea is, let me just sort this out. The idea is that you can get your ball of yarn and you make it into a cake or a centre pull ball, and you take the handle off of this, and there it is, and you slide it through, and there we go, your cake sits on there. Then you attach the handle. Now this handle spins so that your yarn can spin as you pull it off, and then your wrist goes through the handle, and this toggle can tighten up so that it doesn't go anywhere. And this is a lovely soft handle, so it doesn't cause any indents or anything on your hand. And then as you knit, and I have loads of excess here, but I'll sort that out in a bit, but as you knit you can pull, whoop, and it just spins off. The idea being that I can knit at shows, and people will be able to see the yarn in the cake and then be able to see how it's knitting up as well. But then I sat there and thought, it's just cool. You can flash your stash as you're walking along. It's if you're walking along and knitting and it's just spinning off your hand, because I walk along and knit, and it's just spinning off your hand, rather than having to constantly reach down and pull from the ball. I don't particularly like to knit from the centre of a centre pull ball, because I find that by the time I come to the end of that ball, it all collapses in on itself and becomes this horrible bleh. But then if I'm knitting from the outside, what's the point of the centre pull ball in the first place? Because then it's all just getting, you know, I've constantly got to yank at it from the bag where it needs to roll about a little bit. So this means that I eliminate that problem, and it's just hanging off of my wrist. So I've stuck 2 on here. I probably wouldn't knit 2. If I wanted to, I'd have 1 on each wrist for colour work and things like that. But yeah, this is the stitch up. It is a little invention of mine. I have made a few and sent them off to people. I have lots of ideas for what I could do with this bottom panel. But I think if anyone else thinks it's fun and would be interested, I might pop up a Kickstarter at some point to see if anyone wants one. We can do sort of a pre-order that way to fund getting some parts made in bulk. But yeah, just a bit of fun. These are being made on a 2.25mm ChowGoo needle magic loop, as I always do, and I haven't had much done. It has been Easter week, you guys, and whilst my family are not religious, we are very respectful of everyone else's religions, but we are not religious ourselves. It is Easter holidays here in the UK, and my kids have been here. Obviously the 2-year-old is here all the time anyway, but my 5-year-old has not been at school, and it's been a bit hectic. We have done a lot of things, and I've been trying to work around them. Then knitting time, I have been focusing on a big project, which I'll show you in a second. But this I have been keeping in my East Anglia Yarn Festival little bag, which is quite scrunched up because it's been scrunched up in the bottom of another bag. But yeah, this was one of the bags that I offered for East Anglia Yarn Festival this year, and I think it's a perfect project bag size. Anyway, on to the project that has been taking the most of my time. So this is a test knit. Now it is it is being shared online. It has been, pictures of it have been shared. It is Victoria Marchant. Oh, I nearly lost some stitches then. Victoria Marchant Knits on Instagram, and it is the Roseability jumper, and it is gorgeous. And I am testing the pattern. I am one of the testers, so I'm not going to show you it in huge detail, but you'll be able to see from her Instagram, if you go and check it out, that the back is stockinette, and I have finished the back, and I am working on the front. I don't want to show you exactly how it's done, but it is a lace pattern, and when this blocks out, it's going to be so gorgeous. I have seen the obviously the finished item, because it is all over Victoria's gorgeous Instagram grid, and I am marching on down the front of this, and yeah, we are getting there. So I can't wait to show it to you, but I don't want to show you too much at the moment in terms of construction, because I don't know what she's happy for me to show you. As soon as it is off the needles, I will give you a little look, because then we'll be past that stage. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really enjoying how size inclusive it is, and how I should hopefully feel when I get to finally wear it. But it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and I'm really enjoying knitting it. I am knitting it on Chalgoos. They are my favourite. They're my absolute favourite. And I'll show you, this is where I was last week. And this is my Flame Knits Progress Keeper stitch marker glass made one. And I finished that much more of the back, and then have done more than half of the front. I am ploughing on down. So hopefully I'll have had a bit more progress by next week. And this is in a colourway of mine which I can never remember the name of, but it is up for pre-order, I do believe. I think it's in my custom, my blanket fell down, in my pre-order section, which is up. And this is a very scruffy ball, because my child keeps pinching it and running around with it because he thinks it's hilarious. But yeah, and this one, I have been sitting down, so when I sit down I quite often take them off this, but if I'm walking around and knitting, I'll have it on. Sometimes I leave it on when I'm sitting down, because I can just pull it every now and then, but this one has been living on this stitch up. And this has all been living inside the Hohi bag. And my favourite thing that I have been using when it comes to this project, apart from the pattern, which is amazing, has been a little gadget, and I thought I would show you, because I'm going to have these popping into the shop soon. So this this stitch counter has been a lifesaver. I absolutely love it. I have 1,000,001 stitch counters, and they all look different. I have all the different types you could possibly get. In terms of look, I know that the digital ones and everything, they are great, but in terms of look, this is my favourite. I love it. I'm at the beginning of a repeat thing, so I can, like, that click is the most satisfying. What I hate is when it's not a really satisfying click. It's so good. Horrible nail varnish left on one nail. Yeah, I love that click. Anyway, I grabbed a bunch of these for the shop. So this one is mine in this gorgeous green, but there will be some of these greens going into my next shop update. My next shop update will be on Saturday, the 30th of April at 6 p.m. So I have some green ones going in. But I also grabbed hold of some pinks and some blues. So these row counters, can't do my words today, guys. My row counters will be in the shop on the last Saturday of the month. But that one has been a godsend for keeping track of my lace rows. Anyway, so that is all of the projects that I've worked on this week. No finished objects, no stash enhancement. I mean, the stitch marker, the stitch counters, row counters, can't do my words. The row counters, I mean, I've kept one for me, so maybe that counts, maybe. I had a huge yarn order come in, because I started ordering yarn for clubs and some of the yarn for advents, and I have a lot of yarn in this garage room that is undyed. And the only other thing that I have come in is some more scissors. So these will be in the Saturday of the end of the month, 30th update. I had these last year. So if you saw me at any shows last year, you probably would have seen these. They would have been on my website. I had them the year before as well, actually, I think. Can't believe that I've been dying for 2 years this year, guys. But yeah, these scissors, I love these. I love the look of them, and I will definitely be keeping some for me this time, because last time I ended up even selling, I have orange Sharpie, even selling my own pair to someone who really wanted them and was sad I didn't have any left. So this year I'm going to actually keep a pair. This orange Sharpie is on my hand because I took it from Alfie, my 2-year-old, who managed to find it and get the lid off. But in our fight for me to take it off him and him to keep it, he managed to draw on the side of his face. I haven't managed to get it off yet. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do about my 2-year-old who has Sharpie on his face. Anyway, that's a tomorrow problem. He's asleep. It's about 9 o'clock at night here. But yeah, so I have scissors and row counters in the next shop update, and hopefully a few more colourways, and I should have, if I'm keeping up with weekly, I should have one more podcast episode to put up before then, so hopefully I'll be able to show you a bit more about what's going on. I have got plans for a few more videos. I really want to have a big chat about my feelings around East Anglia Yarn Festival, how it was organising a show, the work that went into it, and some of the stumbling blocks that I came upon on my organisation of it. So yeah, look out for that coming soon on my channel. But thanks so much, everybody that's stuck with me through all of this. It's been amazing, and I've got some amazing friends who have been watching for a really long time, so thanks you guys, you know who you are. Yeah, I am knackered. I'm gonna go and have some dinner because I haven't had any dinner yet, and I am going to, this mug by the way is by Emily Cross Ceramics. This is the one I bought at Waltham Abbey Wool Show, and it's beautiful. Emily makes amazing yarn bowls. You can find her at most UK shows that I've been to. I found her. But yeah, I just thanks you guys, because literally 10 years ago, when I was starting a job that I couldn't stand and thinking this is it, this is life, I could never have imagined that I would finally get to the point where I could be me completely in a business that I love, and being self-employed and being a small business, you really feel every single bit of support. Do you know what I mean? So thank you very much. Anyway, I didn't have a lot to say this week about knitting and stuff like that. It's been a very family orientated week. We went to Alton Towers with our children and took them to see BB's Land with some of our friends and their kids, and we had an amazing time. The kids had an amazing time. I would have loved to have stayed for another day, but it's expensive and it's a 3.5 hour drive from us, so if we'd have stayed we'd have had to had a hotel, and then we had plans for the next day anyway, so we couldn't make it last 2 days. Chris didn't have any days off throughout the Easter holidays other than the bank holidays and the weekends, so we weren't able to really get away, so we've done lots of little bits around near where we are. But I am ready for school to start. Ailey's really missing her dance classes at the moment, which are obviously off for the holidays, and her friends, her little friends. I, on the other hand, am missing my knit nights. I don't have any in-person knit nights, but I do have a Zoom knit night with some lovely people, and I normally have 2 a week, and I haven't been on for ages. I am really considering though starting a local knit group when Alfie goes to nursery. I don't know if there's anyone local to me at all who would be interested, but my son should go to nursery in January, and I'm thinking a daytime in the week when he's at nursery, if there's anyone who would like to go to, like, there's a local hotel near here that do good cake, and go and sit and knit with me for a couple of hours on one of those days. Yeah, I'm thinking about starting one up. So January seems a long time away, but I know it's going to come really fast. Anyway, I'm going to go because my dinner is ready. My lovely husband has done spag bowl, and I am going to go eat it. I hope the audio quality hasn't been too bad on this one. I have had the mic plugged in, so let me know if it's been awful and the mic isn't working at all. But thank you so much if you've got all the way through 25 minutes of me rambling. And as always, thank you so much for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.